especially when you're talking about sort of coming into like this new space and new sort of perspective on your channel. I guess this all sort of, I guess you could say, probably stemmed from your car crash. So I guess,
Yes.
can you give a brief rundown for people who don't know what happened?
So, back at my last job I had before I got fired, which I'll talk about in a sec. I I had to. It was a long drive. It was about a 45-minute drive there and back. And on my way back from work one of the days, there was a really dangerous intersection that I took that I had to take to get home. It was so dangerous. Like even it was so dangerous that when I was in the hospital, like 5 days after my crash, another crash happened, and I cannot even tell you how many crashes I've heard happen in the intersection. It's ridiculous that they haven't done anything about it. Anyways, so the intersection is dangerous because you have to make a left turn like in front of an oncoming lane. And so what
Mm.
happened is I saw this cop coming, and he slows down, and I thought he was slowing down because he saw me. So I started to make the turn, and he speeds up, and then we made a collision. And
Oh,
yeah, that was I get when it happened. I didn't even. Have you ever had a moment? I don't know if it maybe it's just pain. But have you ever a moment where something like so ridiculous happened that you couldn't even like believe it was real? You're like, no, this is not happening. This is like a dream.
I
Have you ever had anything like that?
look. I don't think I could have ever had anything quite to that extent.
Oh,
I know
but
it.
that's what happened to me though. Like I was just in my car. When I woke up, I was in my car. My like foot was like almost backwards, and
Mm.
I was like, "This is like not happening." I couldn't even believe it. It was terrible. Anyways, so I broke my leg, um, and then my intestines got like cut or something, and they had a it was some complicated process. Apparently, there was like a bunch of fluid leaking out my intestines, so they had to like cut my stomach open and do all that
Mm.
crap.
Yeah,
But I'm
just
fine now. Anyways,
content warning.
yeah,
Anyone who finds it squeamish to hear this, just content warning.
yeah. It was really terrible experience. But
Oh,
anyways,
Jesus,
because of
yeah.
that, um, when I got back to work, my obviously my work output wasn't as strong as it was before that because like I had a hard time walking around, and a lot of my job required me to move around the fab a lot. For anyone curious, I worked at a semiconductor. I uh, I built light guns for um. Anyways,
Oh,
so
cool.
I worked in a fab, and I was you're supposed you're when you work on a fab, you're expected to move around from station to station,
Yeah.
get all the parts you need to construct all things you need to do. And I just couldn't do that as fast. And
Oh.
everyone that I worked with, they assumed that was why I got fired. Um, because the reason they gave me, I'm not gonna get into it, but it was really petty. And when I told everyone, they're like, are you joking?" I'm like, "No, that's what they told me." Everyone's like, "I think they're looking at you. They saw you as a loss, and they probably had to think of something, because of that." And that sounds
Mm.
as shitty as it is. That's life. That's
Yeah, I
that
know what
stuff
you
just
mean.
happens.
That is, I guess, and look, you can't control these things, especially with the car crash.
Yeah,
And
it was.
like, but it's I'm really happy that you're sort of seeing this sort of new light, especially with the YouTube channel.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, because
Yeah.
after the car crash and after getting fired from my job, I had a bit of money saved up, and I was like, you know what, I'm going to just focus on YouTube for a bit. If it doesn't go anywhere, whatever, I'll just get a job like I always do, so I can continue paying rent. But I did the tanks video; it did really well. I don't know how things are going to go from here, but if they keep doing as well as the tanks video, then yeah, I think I can really turn this into my career, and I won't have to can bounce between shitty jobs ever again.
And you said before, just that sort of shock of like reality with it. I was very curious about this. Were you very like, because you said like your foot turned around backwards. Like, were you very cognitive of the pain in that moment? Because I know sometimes people sort of just go through this like days of shock and they don't really understand or like comprehend what's going on. So what
Oh
was?
no, I definitely felt the pain. It was
Yeah.
probably the worst pain I felt in my life, unless I'm forgetting something. I've broken a few bones back in my day, but this was definitely up there.
Mm.
Yeah, it was no, I was fully aware, especially once I woke up in my car, I was fully aware of what was going on, and it was oh my god, I was like bawling my eyes out, which made me even more upset. If anyone who's seen the video I did covering this,
Mm.
I was just in my car, just in total pain, and I was like, this cop is asking me all these questions. I'm like, can I just please get an ambulance? He's like, we'll get you one soon. He said to ask you a few more questions. I'm like, I can't. Is this seriously happening right now? Are you like, ask me in the hospital? Like, are you serious? Like, just get me an ambulance already, for fuck's sake. It was really bad.
Yeah, and because even in that video talking about especially and about like how like the police and how that was dealing with you, has there been any updates? Because you're even talking about like how you're worried about any sort of like legal repercussions.
Getting sued.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anything happened?
I haven't heard anything yet, so I don't think it's gonna happen. And I think the reason I don't know if I mentioned this in the video. I think the reason why it's not going to happen is because I don't have anything to my name. Like if the cops were to sue me over this, because they would have liability, they would be able to, because since I was the one making the turn, I'm technically liable. But yeah, if they were to sue me, it probably costs them more money than they would get out of it, because again, I don't have a lot of money to my name, and if they were to sue me, I'd have to file for bankruptcy anyway. But luckily, that hasn't happened. It's kind of shitty looking at it. Just be like, oh yeah, they're not going to sue me because I don't have any money. But I guess it is a silver lining.
Yeah, like that is like that's sort of like a you can't sue me, don't have any money, dab dab dab. You know, that's like
it's like ha ha ha. Wait a second.
Yeah.